Well, what a weekend and an open we've had for crypto. We've had the largest liquidation event in history, bigger than the Luna crash, bigger than FTX. We've had nearly 1 million traders liquidated over the course of the last 48, 24 hours. And the market as it stands is still in a decent position. Okay, so I want to kind of clarify that and start off with the overall thoughts, because obviously I've been quite bullish. I've been quite bullish on these videos. I've been bullish in discussion about crypto. I've been bullish in terms of where we are in the market cycle. And this video isn't going to be any different to that. The thoughts that I have are from the higher time frame perspective, and they have only been solidified by the way that market has moved in kind of the last 48 hours. Well, some of the thoughts and the actual process has been solidified, not necessarily the bullish catalyst for this market. But we're going to have a little bit of a chat about kind of asset selection, market selection, why that's so integral, and then looking at those three key charts that we've been looking at, which has been BTC, ETH, and SOL. Okay, because they're the primary focus and they're the markets that actually have so far, with the exception of ETH on the downside tolerance, weathered this storm the best. And so what we had at the end of last week was we had, coming into Friday, a market that actually looked very healthy. We had a market in which kind of the bearish discussion on Twitter had started to die away. The bulls had got very confident. I had got very confident. And then we had the kind of tariff discussion news that then came up on Friday evening, which the market got spooked by. We then had the confirmation of the tariffs on Saturday, and we had, you know, the price action resulting from that late Saturday into Sunday, over the course of Sunday night into what we've experienced today. So we had conditions that actually look very positive for us into something that came into the market that then impacted the way that we were looking. Now, some people will say, well, their technical analysis showed them that there was a bearish outcome here, and therefore the news just played into that and helped accelerate it. Absolutely fine. My system didn't really show any bearish kind of setup on here and was largely then just, you know, a result of what happened with the news accelerating or causing that downside price action, whatever you choose to believe. So we're now in a position where, like I said, I am still kind of higher time frame bullish. Nothing has changed about these markets aside from the downside that they've experienced over the last 48 hours. And we'll start with ETH here as one of the more dramatic sell-offs that we've seen. So if we just take it from kind of Saturday here, and again, our kind of positive Friday, into chipping this away towards the end of the day, into what then came on Saturday, which has resulted in a grand total of a 37% sell-off in ETH over the last 72 hours. That's a monster total for this market. It's a monster total for a major. We talked about previously SOL being up 76% over the course of, 4 days, 5 days. We've now seen downside that is hugely significant in this market. If we're looking for moments that would be considered or would fit the definition of these capitulation events, this is absolutely one of those that would start to fit into that category. We've already started to see a healthy response on this. I won't speak too soon in terms of how we'll end this daily, but this is the situation that we have currently. We're up, quite well off these lows down here, already up 30% off the lows, and a potentially good opportunity should you have been looking to buy down here. Now, in terms of supporting the bullish argument and the line that I'm taking with the market is simply that this is still a market that is forming this higher time frame uptrend. And so we have a situation that's through here where we've got the protection of the low at 2,300, which is very important to ETH. And we've got a market that's made a fresh high through here over at the 4,000. So my hope for ETH through this region here is very, very simply, this is the low, this is a higher high, this forms some form of higher low here. And that's it. It's as simple as that. And when you switch this to a monthly time frame, you actually get 2,500 that you see as a really important level for ETH through here. So this will now be the 5th month that ETH has traded sub 2,500. And again, keeping in mind we are very early in the month, we would be looking for ETH to close the monthly above this level and continue to solidify this as a monthly support region and an area of interest for the market. So that's what we're looking at from a higher time frame perspective. On the weekly, 2300 is the protection of the low. On the monthly, we want to see closes above 2500. But again, a long time for both of those at this point in time in order to see the reality of what that looks like. Okay, so that's the area we want to hold on ETH. And if we do that, then we're going to be forming a higher low here. And that's great for this trend and this structure. And then we'd be looking for upside again. Then when we go ahead and we take Sol over here, Sol is, again, very much in exactly the same situation. Our protection point is 180 down at the weekly low. This is a market that, reminding you again, made an all-time high 3 weeks ago and has sold off significantly from that. Already from that all-time high, we're down 40% over the course of the last few days. We are down on Sol 27%, 28%. Right? So not quite to the degree of ETH, but still a significant sell-off in this market, and once again bouncing that sub 180. It's been an important level for us for a long time on Sol. This 180 area has seen a lot of price action, both as resistance and now as support, and we're seeing buyers once again step in under here. And then finally, I posted on Twitter this morning to call this the most horrifying chart that we've currently got in our kind of, overall market view. And the reason that to be the case is that so many people have obviously had a very rough time over the last 48, 72 hours. And this market is still just in a higher time frame consolidation range. Okay, so that's kind of the most horrifying thing, is some of these markets are down 95%, right? And BTC is still chilling just shy of 100,000 in a consolidation region on the weekly time frame, and is reacting once again to those dips that we see down towards 92,000. So horrifying from the perspective of how relaxed this market is in comparison to the blood that's been shed elsewhere. But this market's still absolutely fine. Now, obviously, when we cover those three markets, and like I said, they've been the primary markets that I've been covering, and I spoke in the last video about the under-allocation of people and the underexposure of people to the majors in the current climate. What we see during bull markets is we see that people begin to get more diversified in their portfolios. They begin to spread out into lots of different things, whether or not it's new narratives, new chains, new meme coins launching, right? Lots of different things happen over the course of a bull run which cause our portfolio to start to spread out. Okay, it starts to become a bit kind of like a spider's web that just starts to expand, grow bigger, okay, but is all essentially interconnected. And what we've seen from the market is the market has been particularly punishing on the alt side of things. It's been particularly punishing to shitcoins. And now we want to see a situation where people are aware of their bags being absolutely hammered. Now, they have been for weeks anyway, but this event today is probably the final straw for a lot of people. And is it an opportunity in order to rebalance portfolios into majors that are still holding good market structures? Like I said, ETH, Sol, and BTC still actually in a fine position. All right, BTC the most, Sol second, ETH lastly, and again with the downside tolerance you've got to endure by holding ETH. But overall, those markets are in a really good position. So market selection is very, very key to the way that this market is working right now. It has been for a while. You've seen people in pain. You've seen people complaining, yet BTC isn't doing anything. Right? That's been the common meme that you've seen circulating around. BTC is chilling. It's chopping around in a higher time frame range. Okay, Sol, all-time high 3 weeks ago. Yet alts are down 90%, 80%, and they've been red day after day after day. So now is potentially a very good time to look at allocation. Where is allocation important to you? What markets are you allocated in? How diversified is the portfolio, intentionally or unintentionally? Because that can happen. And maybe now is the time to rebalance. Maybe now is the time to consider opportunity in the market. And I can't sit here and say to you that you should be buying things or these are the levels to buy at. When you have sell-offs to the degree that we've seen over the last 72 hours, it's a personal decision. Do you believe there is value in the market here? What's your length of hold? How long are you looking to invest for, etc.? That is completely a personal decision when we experience these sorts of events.